Brian Shaw initiates the Shaw Grip Challenge, and several gripsters from around the world try their hands at winning a steak dinner. The topic of body weight and hand size gets analyzed. We cover some of the biggest feats of grip strength from the past few weeks and more in episode 35 of This Week in Grip.
Hey everybody, this is Jedd Johnson here with This Week in Grip. This is episode number 35. Now, if you went back and you tried to find episode 33, you're not going to find it, brother, because there was a little counting error that took place in the last show that we did. So don't get all upset, don't get all angry, don't fret, don't get hangry. We are now on episode 35, and don't look for episode 33 because it isn't there. I want to thank everybody for using the hashtag. I just logged into Instagram and searched the hashtag This Week in Grip, and I saw that we were all the way up to 670 posts. That's nearly 100 additional posts from the last time that we had an episode of This Week in Grip, so I want everybody to give yourselves a hand. Thank you very much. That helps us find your awesome grip posts and sort it out from the rest of the stuff that's on Instagram. So we are gradually taking over Instagram with the hashtag This Week in Grip. So make sure to use that when you're uploading your awesome feats. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can see every video that comes out for This Week in Grip. You don't want to miss any episodes. And please give the video a like. That's going to help us out big time with exposure of the sport. And remember, that's what it's all about. That's what we're doing here. That's why we do this either every week or every other week or once a month or whatever the frequency ends up being, because the first rule of grip sport is you tell everyone about grip sport. I'm joined by Alan and Riccardo. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for being on the call today. Alan, how's your training been going since the last time we talked, brother?
Oh, not too bad. Working on a few new things here and there, but kind of picking up a finger injury once in a while as well. But otherwise, things are going pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. I also have a lingering finger issue that I got doing the first Shaw Grip Challenge, which we're going to be talking about the Shaw Grip Challenges here today. But it hasn't stopped me from training. I've been able to get training in. I just need to be smart about it. The one thing it has stopped me from doing is any more hub lifting, which I don't like to do anyway. And grippers have been off the table for, and I don't mean that I'm doing table no-set grippers. I mean I just haven't been doing any grippers. So that's my story right now. What about you, Riccardo? It looks like you're doing pretty good again, my man.
Yeah, you know what? I had that little minor setback prior to King Kong, and while that was frustrating, it's kind of fueled the fire for me to pick it up a notch. And I feel like I've had some outstanding training here, even yesterday, even this morning. Very, very solid, and I'm very proud of what's transpired so far. So if we want more details, I'd be happy to give them. But yeah, I think I'm on the right track.
Cool. Well, let's hit one thing at a time here. Alan, what finger injuries have you had?
I managed to do something a while back. I kind of hurt what would be like I don't know if you call it the pulley tendon of my left middle finger. Mm-hmm. I did that actually doing some pull-ups when I probably wasn't adequately warmed up. And then I did the same thing to my right ring finger. Mm-hmm. The left one seems to be coming around pretty good. The right ring finger, though, that's taking its sweet time. And I actually did that screwing around trying to hub a York deep dish 45-pound plate. I was kind of torquing my fingers at a funny angle, mm-hmm. and that's kind of what set that off. So yeah. It's affected me the same way. I can actually still hub without that finger. I can do most other things. But grippers are definitely out. Even pinch right now, I really can't do wide and thin. But
really?
you know, like a thick, thick dumbbells, things like that, it doesn't really bother so much. Just the other things where it kind of acts right on it, really kind of flares it up. It's actually really almost, pretty much pretty swollen though compared to the look of my other fingers.
Yeah.
But hopefully I get past this pretty soon. It's kind of it's a nagging thing. It's just I didn't feel anything, no audible pops like what we heard with Jedd, where it sounded like somebody slammed the car door. This was just kind of woke up the next day and it was just sore, and it's just kind of stayed like that ever since. So.
Wow.
Can you tie that back to any of the card tearing that you've been doing, Alan? Because I remember that Smitty years ago, back in like 2004, when we were doing a lot of card tearing, he really lit up his one of his ring fingers one time doing card tearing, and I didn't know if maybe that would be related, because I know you've been doing a lot of card tearing, or at least I've seen a few videos come from.
Yeah. No, nothing that I could put to that. I will say that when I do try tearing cards, though, in this condition, it definitely hurts those fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But no pain that started as a result, at least as far as I know, from the card tearing. It was, I can generally put an event to what caused both of these injuries. I just didn't experience anything that day. It was just the next day I woke up, and then it's just been kind of there ever since.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a very lingering type of thing. I'll tell you what I've been doing, and you mentioned pull-ups, is I just straight up started using VersaGrips on pull-ups, because it was really putting a lot of pressure on that ring finger. It's almost like in pull-ups you don't realize how much your ring finger is actually doing for you, because once I tweaked this finger, I started feeling that every time I tried every set, and it didn't matter where the grip was, whether it was narrow or wide. They were all overhand. They were all like pull-up grip, not chin-up grip, because I can't even do chin-ups. But
right.
Yeah, it's weird. So I don't know if you want to try that. Maybe use VersaGrips or something like that. Maybe that'll take some of the pressure off, because that's the only way that I can do them right now. Pull-ups or pull-downs with like a really thick bar doesn't hurt at all. I have this thing that's like a 2.5-inch pipe, and use that for pull downs, and there's absolutely no pain whatsoever with that device. So that might be something you could try too.
Yeah, I've been doing like using Rolling Thunders, and I don't notice any issue that way. But it's funny what you say, because like even deadlifting right now, or rows with like a standard Olympic dumbbell, that hurts my fingers. But anything fat, I don't have it at all. It's just that narrow stuff where it wants to pull, especially when as the grip fatigues and your hand starts to open up, you get kind of that eccentric thing going on. That's when the real magic happens, because then I'll definitely feel it for a couple of days again after that.
Right.
So,
well, I had a tear, Alan, before my contest 2 months before in Russia in March of last year, and the thing was an audible snap. It was doing the stirrup, which I will never, ever do again, because I feel like that is not, at least the way someone explained it to me, maybe my legs and back strains are so far ahead of my hand strains that I was able to pick up too much weight for what my fingers were ready for, even though it didn't feel heavy at all. And definitely snapping, loud, like someone broke a number 2 pencil. And I can tell you the thing that helped me was using those dexterity balls, and now I don't do any weight training, gripping, benching, anything, deadlifting, whatever, until I warm up with those things first. And it took, I read quite a bit about days to heal, and that's about how long it took mine to get better. And I highly recommend, Alan, that the reason it's hurting on the thinner things is because your hand is having to squeeze more, and on the fatter ones, like Jedd alluded to, or you did on the Rolling Thunder as well, the hand is at an angle. I don't think you fully tore the thing. I'm not a medical professional, but I think what happened is and as you make the hand like a gripper and you make a fist, it's going to hurt more because the thing is put in a more contracted position. That's just my hypothesis there.
No,
so,
that's You're right on. That's exactly what I'm experiencing. Yeah. Yep. It's in that. So I've been using the Versa grips for, deadlifting and stuff like that, and that's helped considerably. You mentioned the stirrup is how you injured.
I don't even know what a Versa grip is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's going to listen to this. Can you guys explain what it is?
Well, they're the best. They're the absolute best wraps that I've ever used in my life.
Yes, without question.
Yeah, so if I can describe them to you, there's a cuff on them that goes around your wrist, and it's adjustable. So this item slides right on your hand, just like a wrist strap would. But mine have a buckle on there. Does yours have the buckle, Alan?
No, I have the downgraded Velcro. They stopped making the better buckle.
Yes. So there's two versions, Riccardo. The first version I got in the early 2000s, and I still have them to this day. Okay. Now I want you to remember that for the rest of the story that I tell you.
I'm ready.
But as far as the rest of the design, it straps onto your hand, and then there's one probably maybe 6-inch long. Like a pleather piece, like plastic leather or something.
Yeah.
And it loops around the opposite side of the bar that your fingers go. And then your fingers sit right on top of this pleather, and then it becomes an unbreakable grip. And I'm talking about with up to 600 plus pounds on a rack pull. Your hands, your grip will not slip. So we got these in the early 2000s. I would say it was probably 2001 because I was still training in the chiropractor basement back in the very first gym I ever joined. So it was probably that far back, maybe even 2000 or 1999. But I was at the Arnold after a few years of using these, and the guy that sold Versa grips had a booth there. And since then, I had seen that he went from this strap tightening buckle apparatus that was on the Versa grips to a Velcro piece of strap. And I said, this design was perfect. I wonder why you went to the Velcro. And he said straight to me, he said, I had to change it up because people were buying a set of Versa grips and they'd never buy another set because they were lasting forever. And it's totally true because I still have the same set of Versa grips from however long ago. It's nearly 20 years old, and and I can still use it. I mean, there's like a kind of like a foam pad on the backside so that it doesn't cut your hand off at your wrist.
That would be helpful.
And
I just sent you a picture, Riccardo.
What's
cool.
that?
I just sent Riccardo a picture of these on Facebook Messenger. I don't know if you can access it just so you can see it while we're talking.
Yeah, and then there's also this thing called Google, just in case you don't know, Riccardo. So stop wasting our time asking us to send you pictures of stuff that you can just Google, all right? But they're a fantastic piece. I highly recommend them, and I think they're better than any other strap I've tried. Now, there's also those figure 8 straps that are out in the market, and I know that a lot of people sing their praises, and I've never used those. So if someone out there listening is using those, then they could be bigger, but I just want to say that I haven't used those. But as far as what I have used, this by far is the best item, the Versa grips. The only limitation that I've seen with them is if you're in a strongman contest and you've got to do, let's say like a truck deadlift, car deadlift, boat deadlift or something like that where there's an item on the trailer and the handles are really thick, if someone says you're probably not going to reach around those big-ass handles with the Versa grips, they might be right because they did fail me on an event back in like 2006 because the handles were so darn thick. But on a regular barbell and even just a normal 2-inch axle, they're perfectly fine for me. For someone with smaller hands, they might have trouble. But I definitely recommend a purchase of them. And I think you may be able to these days buy them with an extended handle. That pleather.
I think that's right. Yeah, I think I've seen them that way, actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jedd, I want to thank you not only for the education about Versa grips, but also for the internet. I figured, you know what, that is just delightful that you have enlightened me to Google. Thanks, Jedd, for that little nugget.
Yep, and I wanted to pass on something else that I got. Now, I don't have permission from the person that sent this to me to share this, so I'm not going to give the person's name away. And then that way, if someone follows this advice, then this person can't be sued. But they wrote me this message. I hope your finger's okay. This is after I talked about my injury like a week ago or something. When I blew mine, I saw a hand specialist who informed me that surgery does not improve outcomes. Mine took a while, but once I was able to use it even extremely lightly, I started incorporating the lightest climbing, almost like climbing a ladder, to get movement and blood flow to the area. This helped a lot. On a previous tear, I did not use active recovery, and my finger built up lots of scar tissue and didn't heal as well because I just immobilized it for so long. I never had surgery on my left ring finger, and that hand is still my strongest hand. The flexor tendon still bowstrings because I don't have an A2 pulley on that finger. Don't be too discouraged. Almost all my climber friends have done this. None had surgery. The little connective tissues regenerate and compensate in a surprising manner. If it's sore to the touch and hurts to grab door handles, hang from a pull-up bar, it's probably a tear to some extent. The A2 pulley is the one that wraps around the finger in between the palm and first knuckle, and the palm side of the finger. If that area is sore, the tear is probably an A2, by the far most common. Given that this was 2 days ago, and it was actually probably about 9 or 10 days ago, and has not hindered your training, I would venture a guess that it is probably a partial tear. Be careful with all that scope game, brother. So that was I appreciate that they would be concerned and have me limit my scoping. So that's important. You can tell this person cares. So that person knows who it is that sent that to me, and again, I appreciate the looking out. So, and that's from an experienced climber. So it sounds to me like it's an extremely common injury within the climbing sport. So if these guys are dealing with it, we can deal with it too. And I've had this injury before. I tweaked both middle fingers on the rim tops lift back in 2011, and it was a lot worse than this. So so that's it. So Riccardo, why don't you bring everybody up to speed what injury you had, and then we'll go on with some of the topics for this week. Let us know.
Just real quick, the one that I had before Russia, it was that A2 pulley thing. The thing just exploded or whatever, and I did what I could when I could. I did not immobilize it. I would agree with whoever put that little soliloquy you just read. I would agree with all of those things. I did the best I could. I stayed away from grippers because I think grippers put a huge amount of pressure on the hand. And when I was in Russia, I had to do the silver bullet with my left hand. Well, whatever. I did it, and there you go. Like I said, about 100 days later, a little more than 3 months, it's fine. So that's pretty much it. I think if you're patient and you stay away from the things that really isolate the finger, I think you'll be fine. So no more hub from you, no more grippers for a few months, and it'll be good in a couple months.
Yeah, and I'm not too worried about it. I can still stub my ass off. I mean, I'm hitting it like 3 or 4 times a day. So there's really no downside here. I mean, it's not that my heart is broken about not being able to train grippers. So I'll just do the Ivanko Super Gripper at Gripmas with my left hand. So
there you go.
Yeah. Well, cool. So one of the things that we were going to talk about this week is the Shaw Grip Challenges, and I think that's the hashtag, right? Shaw Grip Challenge. Is that right, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. So what happened was I get on Facebook one day, and there's about 55 people tagging me and sharing on my timeline about this video that Brian Shaw put up. And we may have talked about this on the last episode that we did, but the first one was, I don't know, what did he call it, a milled York plate?
Milled York 45.
So what exactly does milled mean? Because in my opinion, I thought that was so when I hear milled, I tie that to a plate that's got those grooves on the flat side.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Again, so if Google isn't working in while loosing, Jed, you can get on there and Google it, and The milled York plate it has some ridges on the back, and in powerlifting that helps hold the plates together back in the old days when they still used that style of plate. They're really cool. I've seen them before, but I don't have one. I think, Alan, you have them, huh? Alan?
I have two. Yeah, yep. And I equated some of the milling also to being their way of adjusting the weight on the plate to get them within tolerances, because I think they're claiming to get them within like 1% or something like that of the total plate weight or something like that. I could be wrong about that number in particular, but that's how I figured they were getting down to that, is just flipping them over and grinding a little meat off the backside, maybe starting heavy and then getting it down from there.
Yeah, but the milling keeps the plates from shifting on the bar. This is before like the thin like Ivanko or Alico plates, those ones from like the 70s and early 80s. I don't know how old yours is. Your plates are, excuse me. But those ones, when you would have 4, 5, 6 plates, 7, 8 plates on the bar, those olden days, the plates would really shift and start to move off, like off the edge of the bar. And those things helped the milling provided a friction place for the next plate on there to grab, and they definitely stayed in place better, for sure.
This sounds like powerlifting folklore here, to be honest with you, Riccardo. Is this fact?
I've used them. I mean, I used them in World Gym in San Jose back in the day. That's how it was explained to me, and seems.
Is this back when you were training with Arnold on Muscle Beach, or?
No. San Jose is kind of far from Muscle Beach, probably 7 hours away. No, it's when I used to live in San Jose, and there was quite a few Olympians for track and field and some pretty heavy-duty powerlifters at that gym before it went bankrupt. And they had 3 sets of those ones. They were a light blue color. And that's how because I asked what it was about, and that's how it was explained to me, to stabilize on the bar.
Well, it sounds like you know what you're talking about. So it's either true or someone convinced you. So
yeah.
And either way, the challenge was lifting it by the hub, which I don't think there's any milling on the hub.
Negative.
So, like I said, after about 55 people tagged me on it, I was like, all right, I'll go down and do a hub plate. There wasn't. I read it, I watched it. I was like, maybe he doesn't want a milled plate. Who cares? I'm going to go down there and just do a hub and put it up so that people will stop tagging me. Well, people continue to tag me because I guess they didn't see that I put the video out. And then I didn't actually see anybody but me and Dave Depew put videos up for the hub lift. But I used I believe it's called a Billard, Billard plate. Nowhere near the same hub as the York plate. Much narrower. It's actually more like a 5-inch hub, and it's pretty much what the bull ring is designed to train for, that kind of hub. So there's no comparison between what I did and what Brian Shaw did. I mean, he did it with 15 pounds added on the plate. That was what he wanted to see replicated. So when he saw the video, he asked me if I could do it on the same plate, and I told him no, because I actually hurt my finger trying to lift the 15 pounds on top of the 45 in one hand, and then the Blobzilla in the other hand. So, but then I see that since then, Gil has replicated the feat with a slightly different plate, which he's saying is a replica of the milled plate. But I was under the impression I didn't have any of those, but I actually may have found one. There might have been one kind of buried.
You do have one.
Yeah.
Yep, in your inch dumbbell, which I don't want to spoil, but in that video, you can clearly see the plate in question on one of your racks. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at Alan going Sherlock Holmes on us right there. Alan, I love it. Way to discover it.
Well, and let's just say there ain't no way. There ain't no way I'm doing that feat. That's so freaking hard to do that it's insane.
Yeah, and can I ask why? Because I don't have access to that plate. The last time I probably saw one of those was, I don't know, 17 years ago. I went there before that gym closed down. Is it because it's real shallow, or because it's real wide, or both?
It's both, and the fact that I don't do any hubbing. I just don't do any of it. So the last time I did hub training, I think, was for nationals, just because there was going to be a plate that had to be hub lifted, and before that, I was doing bull ring work for for the contest that I held in February. I just don't do it on a regular basis, and definitely not that wide and narrow. There's nothing to hold on to. Whereas with the billiard plates and some of the other ones that I have, they fit into your hands so nice that it might take me one workout and I'll be able to lift them up. The billiard plates I can do anytime I want to. They're just the hub is so optimal that I can do those pretty much any time. Some of the other ones that I have, you got to kind of work at it for a workout or something like that. But so that was the first challenge. Did either of you guys give that one a challenge? Give that one a try and upload a video?
So after I saw that, that's when I tried sourcing those plates, and just because I wasn't expecting to get the plates, throw 15 pounds on it, and eat steak with Brian Shaw. I wanted to find out exactly how hard this was, and so I tracked down a couple plates, and they just arrived here about I think I've had them a week now, and I haven't spent any real time, but they're extremely hard, without even thinking about adding weight to it. It's incredible. I haven't hubbed it yet. I'm to that point where it acts like it floats, like it wants to lift off, but that's about all I got. So it's clearly a next level type of thing, And
you brought up a good point, because Brian Shaw offered $100 steak dinner to anybody that could replicate that feat. So that was the main reason there was such a lure with that feat. And he really, it just goes to show you what kind of hand strength the dude has, because he didn't even use like a real advantageous skin stretch or joint angling grip on the thing. He literally just put like his fingertips down on it and picked it up with 15 pounds at it. It was sick.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
He just picked it up. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
I would like to think that I would have a decent shot at it, since I do have some level of hub proficiency, wide, narrow, shallow, deep, whatever. I just don't have access to the plate, so I didn't want to put up a video of me doing it with the wrong plate, simply because it's not what he did. And since I don't have that kind of plate, I didn't want to waste anyone's time looking at that, because I'm very capable of doing a hub lift on a plate with plenty of weight added. So so
Riccardo, so if you find plates, just so you have an idea, that hub, it's about 5 inches wide and about 3/4 of an inch deep. So if you happen to stumble across something like that, that just gets you in the ballpark. I know you're not gonna say you did the York, because you didn't, but if you happen to come across one, that gives you a ballpark if you stumble into one, because that style is common.
Clay Engine has the plates. Alan, sorry to interrupt. Clay Engine has the plates, and I'm going to try to make it up to Santa Cruz before the LA Fit Expo. But really, I don't want to mess around with something like that right before, because I do have a penchant for getting injured, but I may borrow a plate from. We'll see if I can borrow one, like a library card, and see if I can borrow it from Clay for after the LA or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be anxious to see how you do.
Well, I've done, 58 something, almost 60 pounds on the barrel strength shallow hub, and I realize that's smaller. But it's possible that the metal surface may be better for gripping than the aluminum, even though it's wider. And I think I've done 53 something on Jedd's bull ring, which is 5 inches. So I think I have the horsepower to get it done. Maybe not the very first time I tried, but yeah, I think I would be in the game.
No, I think so. The school of thought used to be, at least on the grip board, was that if people were pulling about 50 pounds, for example, on the Iron Mine hub, that would get them in the neighborhood of hubbing a 45-pound plate. So based on what you said, I would think you'd have a legit shot at getting it, even with weight added potentially. So you sound like you're right there.
Well, yeah. With it. And I think you watched some of the little hub videos I did, a couple weeks ago there. I think my hubbing is on par. The farmers walking and curling the hub.
You put up like 4 or 5 different hub lifting videos in the span of about a week that were all pretty impressive. So.
Well, thanks, Jedd. Yeah, I know it's not your passion like the stuff
at all. I didn't make note of anything the last few weeks, so I don't have any idea what we're going to cover once we're done with this. But I did see some videos from you that look pretty sweet.
I tell you, those hub curls, that's one. I think I'm going to stay away from that. Looks like it puts some pretty brutal pressure on the fingers to me.
Dude,
I don't know. What do you think,
I don't
Riccardo?
know.
Is that pretty crazy? That's like
more on the wrist. As you turn the plate over, at least the way I have to do it to support it, your hand has to. So if I'm using my right hand and I'm doing a curl, just like a dumbbell, that thumb kind of starts coming up and starts twisting towards your face, right? If you can picture that, you're holding a hub downward, and then as it comes up, so right there in that whole wrist/finger area, the pressure intensifies, and going down, it's even worse. The first time I did it, I had to support it with my left hand, and it was a matter of confidence that my hand wasn't going to explode. But I did the hub curl. I did it for 2 reps with the 45-pound plate, and then I did it for 1 rep with 2 of the plate mates on there, the 2.5, so a 50-pound hub curl. And the plates I have, they're these Marcy plates. They have big raised hubs. They're not the easiest ones ever, but they're pretty easy, for me at least. And then I farmer's walked them for almost 35 feet with a turn. I did 20 feet out, and then I tried to do 20 feet back, and I couldn't quite hang on. So, I don't think too many people can do that kind of stuff, but it's probably useless in the greater scheme of things, but it was fun. So.
Cool. So the second Shaw Challenge feat was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a York dumbbell, old school York dumbbell that, for instance, that would be turned into a blob, but it was a 60-pound dumbbell, and then it was picked up by the top in an inverted dumbbell lift fashion and then transferred midair into the other hand. Is that correct, guys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Kind of like playing catch with yourself.
Yeah, that's right. So, and then the only person that I've seen do this so far is David Lobby. I saw that. Has anyone else seen any of this?
No, his was ridiculous, but he's a huge human. Have you ever met him in person?
Yes, we competed against one another at the 2014 Nationals. He came to Derniat Strength for that one. That was the year that we had sledge choke, pinch block curl, 2 hands pinch, axle, and each handed grippers. Huge guy, absolutely huge.
Yeah, big dude, 6'7", over 300 pounds, fairly lean, very big man. So not a surprise, but he did it like child's play. It looked like he could have even done 1 notch heavier. I mean, it just looked like nothing.
Yeah. So he actually did the 60?
Oh, very easily, very easily.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Like just like nothing.
Well, that's what Jedd. I don't think you would have a problem with that. If to me that doesn't look like outside of the realm of what you could do with how you are with the regular block weights and stuff like that. I would think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not like
Do you have that kind of dumbbell, Jedd?
No, I don't. I have a 45-pound York and I have a 60-pound hex. I've never lifted the 60-pound hex. I also don't think I've ever tried to lift the 60-pound hex. So, as far as that's concerned, I can't say that I've ever done the 60-pound hex. I believe the heaviest I've ever done is a 55-pound hex, and I didn't transfer them either. I just either picked them up and held them, picked them up for reps, maybe carried them, something like that. I can do a 50-pound hex like easy. I probably did that feat 20 times one day while I drank like a 24-pack of beer at Luke's.
Wow.
At Luke's bachelor party this summer. So, I was doing it while I was fishing, doing it while I was playing beer pong, holding for time. I mean, I own that feat. But as far as the 60-pound York transfer, I'm not sure if I can do that. I'd like to try. Tim, my good buddy Tim Butler, who everybody knows from New Jersey, actually got one of those from Craigslist, and he's planning on sending it up to me to try. So I do plan on trying that here in the coming weeks to give it a try.
Well, I would think as good as you are with blobs, it should be no problem. I think it's just practicing actually the throwing and catching routine with a lighter one first. You get that down. But, I mean, I have the 60, the half of a 60-pound. I mean, I'm sure you can lift a blob by the face, right? The 50-pound blob by the face easy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, generally, so, I mean,
yes.
I can't lift the biggest one. I think the biggest one by the face I've done is maybe, the 43 pounds or something, half of maybe 85 I have that I've done by the face. But I would imagine with your hand size, you just pick those things up like nothing. It's just a matter of the timing, I would think.
Yeah. Well, I'm anxious to try, and I'm anxious to actually have one of my lifters try it. I've got this young fella, Dawson Brown, that is really enjoying inverted dumbbell lifting, because I have him do just hex dumbbell holds for time, and he's far and away above the rest of the lifters that I have, and he's actually lifted a 40-pound hex.
Cool.
So I'd be interested in having him give at least the lift a try. Maybe not the transfer, but he's got good hands on him. He can open his thumb up pretty well, and he can span across those block weights pretty darn well. He likes it, so he's
awesome.
Got some drive. Yeah.
Cool.
So nobody's seen anybody else besides David Labe do that transfer, right?
No, I think one of the things that's hard, and I don't think I could do that. I've picked up the 50-pound York by the head like that, and not the throwing, not the transferring, but I think some of the things are a little more niche because they're hard to replicate if you don't have access to like a 50-year-old dumbbell or whatever. I mean, I just think they're a little hard to come by.
Yeah.
It's not taking anything away from Brian. The guy he thinks of this stuff, probably walks in his garage, and in under a minute he does it. I mean, it's like nothing for him. But
yeah.
He does have a really nice setup with quite a bit of material, which is outstanding for him. I mean, I think the best thing is the way he's highlighting grip. Thousands and thousands of people are seeing this stuff.
Oh God, absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it's huge. I'm sure a lot of people are being introduced to stuff that they've never even thought of doing before.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And
then what was the third one? I'm drawing a blank
pinch
right now on what the third
plate
one
pinch
was.
with each hand, 45-pound plate pinch with each hand.
Yeah, which I promptly did wrong once again, and instead of doing it with both hands, I did it in one hand and then lifted other stuff in my other hand. I did do one pair in each hand, but that was only by the stroke of luck. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with my reading comprehension, but I seriously forgot totally that I had to do it with each hand. So I know that Gil did it with each hand with the same set of plates. Who else? Did we see anybody else put a video forward with the 245s?
Joel Dirks did it. Alan's new training partner.
Joel Dirks, yeah. And
guy's a monster.
He one-upped it though. He one-upped it. He didn't just do the milled 45s though. He went with something that was fatter and I would say more difficult. It was probably not quite on the lines of pinching a couple old school Yorks like what Jedd did, but the next closest thing. I would agree. I think they were. I don't know if they were like the old internationals or something on par with that. A deep dish style of plate, but they had a solid 3+ inches easy on them. Really close probably to what they were with the Yorks. So yeah, his was he was one of my on the list for the feat of the week with that one because
They look very similar to the Billard plates as far as the thickness and the design of the outside of the plate. I can't speak to the hub, but the Billard plates that I used for the initial hub lift of the first Shaw challenge are very thick. So they look real similar. So I would say they're probably 3.5 inches.
They're fat ones,
if not wider.
Yep. Did you catch that video, guys?
Go ahead. Sorry, Alan. Sorry.
Did you guys catch that video of him doing those lifts? He got the one in the left hand up in the air first. It was like his grip wasn't suboptimal, so there was kind of a pause for a second. So he's got the one set in his hand like in the air while he's kind of positioning, and then gets the other one. So that's the kind of strength you're dealing with on that guy. It was like, oh wait a minute, let me get a real pick, and then he got it.
It was almost like, and I've been in communication with him actually quite frequently lately. He seems, I've never met him in person, but really a nice guy. And, his techniques are very raw. And I've told him that, and he's like, I'm really getting really into grip. I need to figure out some of these things. But that's exactly it. What he did was kind of like a rookie kind of deal, like, I don't quite have it. Let me just hang on with this one. It's like picking up a bag of groceries. You're fumbling around while one other one is up. except it's 90 pounds of groceries on a wide plate. The guy's insane.
Yes,
he's insane.
He's had a number of those out there like that.
I was messaging with him also, and he says that his hands are only about 7 3/4 inches long.
Yeah,
that could be
very strong.
Yeah,
very strong.
When he was down for King Kong, actually, I do remember that because my hands are quite small, so normally they get engulfed pretty quickly by other people. And yeah, I agree. It was like I was shaking hands with a normal person in that regard. So yeah, he's definitely doesn't have a huge advantage over everybody else. He's just got the freaky strength that goes with it. So
yeah, he doesn't have hands like Ulyss, huh?
Right, yep.
Ulyss there, your other King Kong compatriot there, that guy's got some massive mitts.
Yes, he does. Yep.
His are probably more like 8 3/4 inches rather than 7 3/4 inches.
Yep. But yeah, with that in mind, and that goes along too with the strength thing, is that, his numbers between him and Joel, they were on par with each other, in the thick bar. I think the only thing that stood out was probably the V-bar, but otherwise it was fairly comparable. So
yeah,
definitely dealing with
the
strong other.
They each have different strengths, right? Ulyss might have the bigger hands, but I think Joel's and maybe his overall body strength, might be a little bit ahead. Ulyss is still a young kid. I don't know how old he is, 25 maybe, 23?
25,
I don't know.
Yep, right around there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He's just warming up. He's got a huge potential ahead of him. The guy's a very, very strong young man.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
For sure. And we're kind of dancing around a subject here that maybe we'll go ahead and take a stab at this one. I know there was a great discussion, very heated discussion on the grip board the last couple weeks about the hand size and body weight and stuff like that. Was there ever like a decision made, or was there a consensus made on the grip board regarding that discussion, guys?
No.
I didn't.
No and no.
I didn't follow it along real close. I guess I just think some of that's kind of silly with regards to the person they were picking on in particular there. But
that part was not right at all.
So what happened there? Because I still didn't see exactly what was said about it. It was about Tanner Merkel.
Sure.
Can you paraphrase what was said? Because I didn't see it, and I've heard a lot of people say that it was kind of BS what was said.
Well, it's not. It might not be the freshest on my mind, but some of the thought was that Tanner might be farther along with certain things if he put on the weight that would, I don't know, allow him to lift more in certain areas and stuff like that. Is that your take on it, Riccardo? I know we were kind of dealing with that in the past.
I actually followed it quite vigorously because I did participate in that discussion to an extent, and then at that point I stopped arguing because I didn't feel like that was a productive use of my time. But yeah, so basically this guy Mikhail was attacking Tanner and saying what he was doing wasn't that exciting because of his hands were so huge compared to his body weight. And they said that if he actually, pretty much, he said if he actually tried at actual lifting, he would have much more body weight. But the reality is, and I've corresponded with Tanner at length, his rock climbing is number one and gripping is number two. And he's a great kid with an immense talent. And I'd love to meet him in person. It's too bad I didn't do it at King Kong this year, but hopefully in the future. And the guy is extremely, extremely talented. And according to Brian, who I happened to see yesterday, which was kind of nice, we had a pretty big training day yesterday with Old Haugen. Brian said Tanner's hands are of just a proportion like he's never seen before. He said his hands are just really very different, very long and very, very wide. And he's a very, very strong kid for his size, and I'm sure it has to do with hanging for your life on some cliff or something. I'm sure that has something to do with it. The kid has spent a lot of time doing the rock climbing. He's happened to be blessed with big hands, and he's super strong. I mean, he's a perfect storm for this type of a sport.
Yeah.
I think you just summed it all up when you just said he's super strong. I think the hand size thing only gets you so far. Personally, I think he's just strong. That's all there is to it. And climbing is his A1 priority. And if I was him, I wouldn't want to pack on 20 pounds and jeopardize that which he's most into, for the sake of impressing one or two guys on the grip board. I just think,
exactly.
But that's the other thing is that he's just strong. There's no two ways about it.
Well, he's a great guy too. I've spent hours with him out in the hot sun in Texas earlier this year in March, and we went for a ride in his car, and heck of a dude. Drove me back to the hotel and stuff. And I don't think it's a matter of putting on body weight. I don't think he has to put on any body weight. He just doesn't know the technical necessities of the deadlift. If he did, then he would be able to do it safely, and you would see a big increase in numbers in his deadlift and his axle work. So take the strength and attitude that he has, and then combine a little bit more knowledge with the technical aspects of the deadlift, and you've got someone that's even more talented for grip sport. So whether or not he ends up adapting, proper technique is yet to be seen. I sure hope he does, just for the sake of safety for his back, because I hate to see him develop back injuries, back issues. So that's a much bigger thing for me. I'm glad that you guys covered that. I didn't see that post. Like I started, instead of digging to the actual beginning to see what was said about him, I started just arguing with Mikhail. So, when you said that my putting on dad bod proportions brought my two-hand pinch up, I thought that was an absolute farce. So I couldn't say no to that argument.
Yeah. Well, Alan, one comment I want to make to you is this. I think, like anything in grip, it depends on the events, and I think it's pretty common sense. If you have real big hands, you're going to have an advantage at thick bar simply because you have less of a gap between your thumb and fingers when they touch or don't touch. And I think if you, with the bigger hands, but the bigger hands may also get in the way on things like hub or grippers or something else where the leverages are all different. That's why I think the best contests have a balance of events to find out really who's strongest. And I think the key in grip is who's good at everything, right? And I think that's what if a well thought out contest will find out who's good overall in general at a variety of tasks, in my opinion.
Sure, yeah. No, I agree. My only statement with regards to him just being plain strong, in the hand thing, is there's a lot of people out there with really long hands that just can't lift crap.
Right.
So I just think that he's just, that was the only direction I was heading. I just think he's getting singled out for something that's just nonsense is all.
Yeah. So we got 10 minutes left in this call, guys. So I just want to remind everybody to hit like on this video before you stop watching, because again, it's going to help put the topic of grip out in front of more eyes in the search results and the suggested videos on YouTube. But what I thought we might do before we get off this episode is maybe at least point to maybe the biggest feat or the biggest couple of feats that you've seen over the last few weeks since we did the last episode. And I'll go first, and I'm going to point to Tanner actually for lifting the 200-pound Myers dumbbell that he bought from Big Mike, the vegan machine or whatever he goes by, big bald Mike Crockett, who seems to be on his way to Colorado from Texas. Good luck to him there. But Tanner lifted a 200-pound dumbbell with, how big of a handle, Alan? Did you catch that? Do you recall? Is it 3 inches?
I don't know how big that is. I was hoping to find out more about
handle. I think it was an inch-like handle, but maybe a little longer and not as stubby as an inch, from what I recall. But he said it was way harder than lifting me. That's what Tanner said. Way, with a capital way. So, and he did it under control for sure.
Yeah,
very under control.
No doubt about it.
None. No, very impressive.
So it's the last. Here it is. It's let me see if it's got any stats here. Darn, it doesn't have it here. That's the video where he lifted it. I know he's got a post here where he shows it, and it's like a Darn, it's like 3. Here we go. Maybe this is it right here. Okay, this belt handles 2.5 inches, making it much harder than my inch dumbbell. Hopefully I will lock this thing out by the end of the year. And then like a week later he picked it up and, locked it out with no problem. So that was one of the things that I remembered from the last few weeks that was right up there as biggest feat. What about you guys?
Some dude lifted the inch dumbbell a couple times on video. I'm not sure what that was all about, but it's kind of a long video, about 10 minutes long. Alan, did you catch that one?
I did, and I really wasn't sure what was the most impressive part about it was the amount of times that it got lifted or that it just got lifted for 10 minutes straight, because both of those are hard in themselves, Oh,
yeah.
So, we definitely don't see that every day.
No, Jedd, that was outstanding.
Well, I appreciate you highlighting that. That was something that I wanted to try for a long time, and I've kind of done like maybe 5-minute efforts and not come anywhere close to that. So I actually think the King Kong training really gave me a boost in my inch work because I did a bunch of inch work that day before I did that. I did a couple singles with each hand. I did a couple double inch farmer's walk with each hand. I did a double inch farmer's walk where I walked towards the edge of my lifting platform, set them down, turned around, picked them right back up, and walked them back to where I brought them from. So it was definitely a good day. I had my buddy Joe Sullivan from Syracuse down there with me, and we always have good workouts when he comes down. But I really think that the work I did for King Kong helped me a lot in my inch dumbbell training for my performance. And I knew that I was probably going to get like 50, but I didn't know that I was going to get over 60, and then end up with 63. I was pretty happy with that, especially given my right finger, which is kind of my right ring finger, which is kind of bummed up right now. So, but it really didn't. Yeah. It didn't do anything to it. Like I said, the thick bar stuff isn't bothering it right now. So that's all I've been doing is that and like 2-hand pinch training, basically. So thank you, Riccardo. Thank you, Alan. What else?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's unbelievable.
Well, Adam Bushway, he should get recognized. Fourth lightest man ever to lift the Denny Stones.
Denny Stones.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yep. Yes, I saw that too. Yes. Tell us more about that, Alan. What else do you know?
That was a huge one. So I'm not sure how long ago that he was out there, but he had a couple of pictures on his, I think just up on his Facebook page, that he made the trip, lifted the Denny Stones, and that's what he posted, was that he was the fourth lightest man. And it sounded like he was also, there was a fellow there with him too, I think it was with him, Matt Jones, that was also the lightest person to ever lift them at 22 years old. So,
real.
Yeah, real exciting. Went out and knocked a couple things out. So, yeah, maybe if Adam Bushway drops a few pounds, he can try to be officially the lightest person ever to do it. Not that he necessarily want to do it, but
come so far, so fast, and he doesn't seem to have like a huge arsenal of equipment to work with. He's kind of got like the basics that he works with, does a lot of hangs and stuff like that. So he's accomplishing a lot in a short time without having direct exposure to all these specific implements. So I'm really impressed with his development. I saw him come on maybe in 2015 or something like that, very, very raw, and he's just, continued to refine technique and work hard. So absolutely, that's a good one to point to, Alan.
Yep. Let's see. I think those were the big one. There was one lady recently that just broke her own Rolling Thunder pull-up record for Ironmind. Christiane
Schmidt, the German, yeah. Very impressive.
Yep. So hit 8 Rolling Thunder pull-ups. So good for her. That's a solid number.
Yes.
Let's see here.
I got some.
Yeah, let's hear what you got, Riccardo.
Well, one that was very impressive, Arto Gironen in Finland. He lifted 108 on Rolling Thunder. Yeah, 3 days ago maybe. Maybe it was
Kilograms.
Friday. So it's 237 on Rolling Thunder. That's an outstanding lift right there. And he did it like nothing. It was very easy for him. Mm-hmm. So that was super good. Jedd, we can give you some props on the bull ring. I broke my record twice in one day.
Nice.
And then Gil broke it just recently.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do it in the same room as Gil, kind of get each other fired up. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be neat. You'd have to go Facebook Live on that.
Yeah. That would be fun. I broke the shallow hub world record too, so on Gil's barrel strength shallow hub. So I had a little bit of hub success here.
Riccardo, when do you actually take the step to change your middle name to Hub or something along those lines? When is it time there?
Well, I don't know. Not yet. I got to get ready for Finland because when I go there in June, I mean, that is Hub Central. So they may deport me if I don't lift 80 pounds in the hub. So they may cut my trip short. So I have to be a little more ready, but I have quite a bit of time to prepare for that.
Well, you need to get Hub Savage tattooed on your arm, Riccardo.
I'm not into the tattoos, Alan. I hate to break it to you. Maybe one of those ones that, like, little kids get at the fair that rub off.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
It has been fun. I even suggested to Brian Shaw that he do the hub curl as one of his challenges. I actually sent it to Brian, no response, but that's okay.
Crickets.
Yeah, it happens. And I know Brian. We actually roomed together at his first LA Fit Expo. Ode had me rooming with him.
Really?
So, Oh, yeah. No, Brian and I know each other quite well. There's actually a picture of him and my son, Nate, from 2 Fit Expos ago, or maybe 3 now, 2015 Fit Expo. Yeah, and he's nice. Only, I think in that picture was only maybe 410 pounds, only. Relatively svelte. I mean, now I don't even know how much he weighs, probably 450. He's just so huge. Have you ever met him in person, Jedd or Alan? Do you ever met him?
No.
I didn't go up and talk with him. I stood in the same area with him both times that I did Mighty Mitts.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to stand in the exact same area with him because he takes up so much space that I think you need a separate little mini zip code if you're standing near him. I mean, I feel like, I feel like an elementary school child next to him, and I'm 6'3". I'm not exactly a dwarf, and he's just so big.
He comes across as approachable, though, like a person you could walk up and talk to. Yeah, that's just how he seems on his videos.
Super nice guy. Super nice. Yeah. No, he has not let the fame and fortune go to his head. He's a regular guy. Really a nice guy. Very genuine.
And he's always smiling, too. He's always got a smile on his face at those competitions. Sometimes not during competitions. One time let me qualify. Prior to the competitions, he always had a smile on his face.
Absolutely. One time I made him redo a 660-pound axle deadlift with straps because he didn't lock it out, and he was not thrilled with that. He did it again, but, he was not happy with that.
Wow.
So, let's go. I will tell you, yesterday we had a training at Ode's house, Ode's gym, with me and Brian Hunsacker from Utah flew in, and Carl Myerscow, and now there was a lot of weight lifted in that session. I can tell you with unequivocally that Carl, the very first time he touched the inch dumbbell, picked it up with both hands, and I dared him to power clean it, and he didn't want to try it. But I can guarantee you that Carl Myerscow can clean the inch dumbbell if he decides he wants to do it. That is unbelievable.
Wow. Any
other
highlights from that workout that you'd want to share that isn't,
I don't want to. I don't know some of the numbers if I'm allowed to say from the other guys, but I can tell you I set a PR in the Saxon bar, which
I saw
was
that
nice.
lift. That's a good number. Yep, that's a solid lift.
Yeah, Ode Saxon bar is not the grippiest of Saxon bars. I mean, it's fine, but it's not like very chalked and grippy and seasoned. It's just a regular. That felt quite solid, and I was only 227 pounds yesterday. I'm trying to make the 220 weight class. I don't know if I'm going to give Eric Hussein nightmares when we compete in Los Angeles, but maybe I can make him work a little bit. So that was very positive. There were a lot of big feats. I mean, Brian and Ode, they lift the inch like it's nothing. But Carl I'm telling you, the guy can clean it if he wants to. Unbelievable. And then Ode was just, it's one event after another. Ode's like, well, bring this out. And, hey, what about this? And, 2.5 hours in, Ode's like, hey, let's try this one. That's just how he rolls. This is 2 months after hip surgery, hip replacement on the other hip. And let's just say on one of the lifts, Ode was the strongest by far. That's all I'm going to say. Still, 2 months after hip surgery. The guy's unbelievable. Nice. Yeah. Unbelievable. Just 68 years old, 2 titanium hips. Unreal. So, yeah. It was a fun day. I didn't go until real late, but that was okay. It didn't stop me from training this morning anyway. So.
That's good. That's what champions are made of right there. They don't miss training sessions. So. No.
I mean, I got home at midnight. I took a shower and went to bed at 12:30, and I was, training again at 7 this morning. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Any other things? We're just about ready to wrap up here.
I have another one.
Any other big things to highlight?
Thomas Larson did a number of he did a Solarakov blob and plate pinching, for the Shaw Grip Challenge, Mr. Wide pinching the plates like they're nothing, also with blobs kind of emulating your feats, Jedd. Again, I don't know what the measurements of those Russian blobs are, but I'm sure they don't pick themselves up, so that was pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. And then it wasn't exactly grip related, but Jesse Pignonian from Finland, at about 280 pounds was doing handstand walking yesterday. I don't know if you caught that, but that's pretty damn athletic at 6'6", 280 to be walking on your hands. I'm not ready to tackle that one. Let's put it that way. So I'll have a different kind of tattoo on my arms, Alan, and it'll be of broken neck. But I don't think I'm going to be trying that one anytime soon. So,
it's
very
funny.
Impressive.
The athleticism some of these guys have. We've seen some pretty big guys doing that sort of thing, skateboarding, you name it.
Eric Bruin on the
it's
skateboard.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I don't know how they do that stuff at that size and this age. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
So good for them to keep at it. Yeah. I love seeing it.
I agree. I mean, I think that I think there's a lot of for you to create it. I think it's doing a great job of expanding people's horizons and building up the grip community and highlighting some of the fantastic things that we've seen. I know Joel Dirks did a double inch deadlift as well at some point in the last couple of weeks, which was, again, just ridiculous for his other stuff. I mean, I still can't pick up the inch dumbbell. And, here's a guy just slapping it on, just part of the warm-up, double inch lift, It's amazing to watch. And hear you, I just did a little double inch farmer's walk, just set them down, pick them up again, For people who've never seen one of those, they have no idea what that's like. That's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, you're talking to the guy that, failed on that in front of probably a couple thousand people at least at the Mighty Mitts. So that's a feat that goes back with me a long time, and we have a love-hate relationship in the gym. So that is not something that has ever been easy for me, and it's taken a long time to finally reach that point. So. Yeah.
Who did that in the Mighty Mitts? Ode and Derniat? Were they able to do it?
Oh, they both did it. Woodall did it. Rich Williams did it. Tex Henderson, I believe, did it back then. This was the first year, and I don't remember who else was in it, to be honest with you, whether Mark Henry was or not. But I was one of the few guys that failed, and I did it in front of thousands of people. So that was pretty tough to swallow. It was a pretty good motivator, but it still took me like 5 years to be able to get it on a consistent basis.
Can you do it anytime you want right now? Today, anytime you want, you go in there and do it?
I got to warm up, but I can generally take them for a couple strides. I wouldn't do it with a cold back. I mean, even though, it's still 350 pounds or whatever that you're walking with. So I can't afford to go down there and try it with cold hands and a cold back. But generally now I can at least lift them. Whether I can walk them or not, I can definitely lift them pretty much every workout.
Wow. Yeah, that's so impressive. I got a ways to go still. That's very, very impressive. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alan, if you had any other things, but I wanted to send a congratulations out to the guy that we've been talking about almost the entire show, Tanner Merkel, on getting married here in the last week.
Yep.
Oh wow, I didn't see that.
I caught a glimpse of that too on Facebook. He hadn't posted anything. It looked like somebody had tagged him in one. But yep. Congratulations, Tanner.
Oh, congratulations! Yeah, that's fantastic. Good for him. That's great.
And then, Alan, any other big ones from you that you wanted to highlight?
No. I guess I'll maybe save a few for next time. There was plenty of stuff that's been piling up, but we can table those for now, I think.
Cool.
That's all right.
Yeah. I anticipate probably a better schedule on this next Sunday coming. So we should be able to get another call in where we can mainly focus on feats. I am sorry that we haven't had shows. Last weekend, I know that there was a pro wrestling in town, and there was just no time to do it, and then it was tough to get together during the week. So as far as the other weekends before that, I don't remember what the heck was going on. But hopefully this coming weekend we'll be able to get another show in. We'll be able to track down some of the stuff that you all have been posting. And if we didn't cover it today, please don't think that we don't care about your feats. It's all awesome, and we want to cover them. It's just a matter of getting the time to do it with some of the busy schedules here with the holidays coming around. So if that works for you guys, we'll go ahead and plan episode 46, episode 36 for next weekend. That work for you guys? You think you guys will be around?
Yeah, I'll be around. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Very cool. All right. So, Alan, why don't you take it away, big boy? The show is yours. All
right. Well, that's the latest episode of This Week in Grip. Don't forget to use the hashtag on Instagram, everyone. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to like and share the video, and we'll be back next week with another one. We'll see you then.